Jason, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, there we go. I'm good to go now.
Jason, you're a 45-year-old man. Learn to behave yourself in public.
We were live yet. I got the number before live.
Dang it, that would have been awesome if we were live.
Yeah.
This would be a good time to point out that we are in fact live.
We are
Jason.
live now. There could be a few seconds of flashing. Yeah.
We're going to get in trouble for this.
Minute, Jason is topless.
All caps and bagpipes. You never know what to expect.
You got to open up your other audiences, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think we made sure we weren't for kids on YouTube, so I think we got that covered already. I had to figure all that stuff out. So, is that a Bo Jackson jersey back there?
It is. So I was a big Bo Jackson collector when I was younger. So I love that Blake pulled that bow, the Future Stars. So I was a huge bow collector. I was kind of known as the bow kid here in Omaha. My dad and I would go to shows every Sunday, and I collected a bunch of other stuff. But my dad would always be getting me different memorabilia, and so I had that. And I've been wanting to paint on jerseys because I see other artists doing it. I'm like, man, I want to try that. And so it's autographed, you know, certificate of authenticity. And I'm like, if I'm going to practice, I want to do it on one of my own. I know I'm going to just keep it, and it's going to hang up there on the wall next to my two Jordans there. So yeah, I'm itching to get at it. It's just been sitting there. So
it's that daily reminder when you go to do some work. Still there.
Yep. Well, I have a Mike Trout baseball that I started 2 years ago, and I'm just about done with it, but I just have not finished it. And then a guy wanted to commission a Mike Trout ball, and I'm like, well, hey, I got this one. You know, it's almost complete, and it'll actually save me some time. So he's like, dude, I love it. I want it. So I was like, great. Well, let me finish it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I was looking through your artwork. It looks like you're having a lot of fun with the athletes and doing stuff there. And we'll talk about it later, because I get to do the art stuff and ask you about that, where John gets to ask you your personal questions there. So, but you're in Omaha. So the one question I was going to ask: how many College World Series have you been to?
I've been to several. I usually like to hit up one game. The atmosphere is just awesome. I mean, people come from, you know, all around the country, even if their team's not there, just to do the College World Series, just because it's such a good event. Omaha's really embraced it. And, you know, I highly recommend coming in. And some of these teams that come in the first day, you know, they're here for 2 weeks. I'm like, man, that's a 2-week vacation, and you're eating out every night. You're spending some money. So, with this whole COVID thing, you know, Omaha lost the College World Series. They lost the swim trials. They lost the NCAA tournament. They lost the MLB draft was going to be held. So we lost quite a bit.
Wait, was this the draft? Is this the one that only had 5 rounds in it, or just the?
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't going to be the whole thing. They're just going to do a little bit, I think. How
big is Omaha? I mean, I know of Omaha because I'm from Seattle originally, but I mean, I have no idea how big the city is.
I don't know. I mean, it's fairly big, I think. Hold on, let me Google. I mean, it's a big. I think we're almost to 1 million. I thought.
Okay.
But I mean, it started out kind of, you know, small, and then had all these other little kind of cities around it, and it's just grown to like kind of envelop them, and so now it's just one big Omaha.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Glasgow, where it's just a sprawling wasteland, except for nobody gets bottled in Omaha. John takes a lot of abuse from me about being from Glasgow because I'm the posh uppity bit of Edinburgh, so we go from there.
He's in the shite part of Scotland.
Yeah. We usually tell this off air, but that's all right. So actually, I'm broadcasting from a 160-year-old toilet. So
yeah, I was just gonna mention that. Like, you're in the posh toilet area, huh?
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. But it's nice. Like I mean, I'm in the city center of Edinburgh. I don't know if you've ever been or not, but
No.
so I'm in Newtown.
You're not missing much.
Yeah. So I'm in Newtown, which is like 180 years old, and like literally like my flat's older than Seattle. So I mean, it's just like it blows my mind at times. It takes me about 10 minutes to walk to go see the castle here. You know, and
See, I'd love to go and see like castles and stuff like that. I love that kind of history.
it blew me away. Like I mean, I had been to London before, and I traveled around more the UK, and so when I actually came to Edinburgh, I was just so blown away with how compact it was and how Newtown and Old Town it was, and it just picture actually blew me away. Where you go to Glasgow, it's all modern. It didn't survive World War II, so they had to go rebuild it.
Castles. You've seen a castle, you've seen them all. Come on, there is nothing special about castles. They're old, they're cold, they're overrated. Let's get started. Hello everyone. We're back with the second of Mammoth 4 interviews that Jason and I have coming up this evening. I'm John McKellar, one half of Ball Caps and Bagpipes and Glasgow Baseball Comet. There's my partner there. Why don't you introduce yourself?
And I'm Jason Durr. I'm a Baseball Scotland former president and Baseball Scotland Hall of Fame, and I'm in Edinburgh, and obviously the better place.
He's in the capital, the shithole that is Edinburgh, and I'm in Bells Hill, just out Glasgow, which is the real big city in Scotland. We're joined tonight for the second interview by a guy we were supposed to have on a few days back, but there was a scheduling problem. It's Mr. Josh Trout. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Hello, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us, man. And as always, we'll start with the same question that I like to ask all the artists, and that's if you could just go over your baseball background. Where are you from? Did you grow up supporting a specific major league team? And did you play growing up? And if so, to what level and what positions did you play?
I was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, so it's smack dab in the middle of the United States. I played 1 year of t-ball. I was that little kid in the outfield just looking at the sky and trees. And then I didn't play any sports or any baseball. In high school, I ran track, cross country. And then after high school, I grew 4 inches. So then I started getting into basketball. I went to a 2-year graphic design illustration school here in Omaha. And the only other baseball experience is I managed some fantasy teams. So highly successful at that.
Amazing. You mentioned basketball. I see two particularly nice photographs behind you of the GOAT, Mr. Michael Jordan.
Those are original artwork. So
they're great, man. I really like them. Particularly the one on your left.
That one in college, and then this one I did about 2 months ago. I had this idea for these I love the modern maps, street maps. You can see them all over Etsy and that kind of stuff. I've always really liked them. And I had the idea to do something with that. I like taking something like that and adding sports art on top of it. I did, at that time, I actually did.
We're jumping right into the art portion of the section. All right.
But at that time, I apologize. So at
no. Like I said, this is awesome.
I had seen this Scott Frost. He's the head coach of the Nebraska football team now. So our Omaha World Herald paper ran this on the back of their newsprint, and it was right when he got hired. So I painted on top of it, but that was the time that I started thinking about doing some sort of map thing, but this opportunity popped up, so I did that. And then I've been wanting to get back to that map idea, and I just went for it. And so I've knocked out a couple, and yeah, but to jump back to the baseball side of things, my favorite team growing up was the Kansas City Royals because of Bo Jackson. And then he went to the White Sox. So my favorite team was the White Sox. And they're still the White Sox today because I liked Frank Thomas and I followed them. So that's about the extent of my baseball. I follow baseball because of fantasy baseball right now. I mean, that's how I'm involved with that.
How many championships have you won? That was asked. Like I said, I love fantasy baseball.
I'm in 2 different leagues, and in the past, I think 6 years, I've won back to back in both of the leagues twice. So 3-peat in both of them during the same time period. This year I won first and second. So I've had a good 6-year run with those 2 leagues.
Wow,
They're
we might have to get a fantasy baseball league for all the people involved. That'd be a lot of fun. But I'm not going to.
I actually thought that would be pretty fun.
So before we touch on your, before we touch on your art, let's talk a wee bit more about fantasy baseball. What's your secret? Do you have a process? Not that I'm trying to get tips or anything like that, but do you have like a process going into a draft for fantasy that you say, right, this is the pieces that I'm looking for, or is it just kind of a?
Well, these are. I mean, a lot of it is luck. I got out of fantasy football because it's all luck. But in baseball, I think I do a good job of scouting the prospects and kind of jumping on who's going to be good. So I have a pretty solid. So both leagues are keeper leagues, and so I have Mookie Betts, Juan Soto, Mike Trout, Jose Ramirez on one squad. So that's kind of been my Jose Ramirez and Mookie Betts have been kind of my staples in both leagues that I've kind of ran with for years. So and it's just constant kind of looking at matchups and playing matchups really.
I guess what you play? Do you play rotisserie? You play head to head?
Head to head.
Head to head. Okay.
Yeah.
I head to head drives me insane because I don't have enough time to watch TNT. I'll be honest. I'm a big rotisserie fan ever since I started playing that and I've never gone back. So.
Rotisserie is fun. I won an ESPN league with another guy last year, rotisserie. But he drafted the team because I couldn't. So then I just managed it. But
all right. So before we get, I was asking. So you mentioned Nebraska football. So what's your opinion on Mike Riley?
Terrible.
He was great at Oregon State. I'm an Oregon State guy. So when he went to Nebraska, I was like, oh, they're screwed because you know what? There's high expectations.
Yeah. He was too nice. I mean, he seemed like a really nice guy, and he was too nice, I think. And the fan base here is like nothing else people have seen. Because I mean, we don't have anything else, so it's all Huskers. But they're passionate and they want results. So
no, I remember. I remember the Cornhuskers being dominant in the 80s and 90s growing up.
Oh yeah, and you ask any Husker fan now, that they'll immediately go back to those days and like, oh man, remember when we were dominating 20 years ago?
Yeah, but see, as an Oregon State fan, I'm like, you remember we had Derek Harrison for a few years, and we kind of maybe paid players, and we, got a few guys who probably shouldn't have. I have to live on those years. So.
Right. It's fun to reminisce,
That's what I said. That's for the College World Series, but at least the baseball team, I can go. We have a good baseball team. That's the only thing I can see that Oregon State's good at.
Baseball's the one sport that matters, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Baseball and hockey are my North American sports. I just find American football to be very confusing. Josh, before we move further into the art side of things, I always also like to ask you, do you have any favourite memories or games that stand out in your memory from growing up watching both the Royals and White Sox?
We went to a Royal. We finally took a road trip to go see the Royals and to see Bo, and he happened to not play that game. So that was kind of a bummer. But I remember going to see the White Sox and standing out front waiting for the players to come in, and Frank Thomas walked by, and that is just a ginormous man. But that, I mean, I remember that vividly, and I didn't really get a whole lot of chances to go to games, you know, because we had to travel. So like I said, like I mean, I don't want to say Nebraska is just completely nothing here, but you know, sports wise, being a sport town, it definitely isn't, except for the Husker craze. So
I can relate to that because I went to school at Oregon State, and besides the Blazers, there's nothing. So, you know, back when I started in '94, the Ducks weren't the Ducks yet, and the Beavers were still crap. So, that was all you had to go by. So, you have that one thing to throw on, you totally latch onto it. So,
yeah, I mean, we have, like, you know, Creighton basketball got big. Creighton is our you know, they got to the NCAA tournament a couple of years.
mm-hmm.
They were the Husker baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were knocking on the door of the College World Series. UNO hockey, which is what division are they? I mean, UNO hockey has been really good. One of their guys, I think, plays for the Penguins. I don't know who it is though. I don't follow hockey at all.
I don't follow hockey either until next year. And I have to care for 1 year and go, I'm a Kraken fan. And then I'm going to go, okay, well, I got my jersey. And I'm like, okay, what next? So actually, you mentioned Creighton. Big John Nelson went to law school there.
Oh, really?
One of our guys that plays baseball out here, who's a hulking, like 6'7" Texan that destroys baseballs in our league for fun.
He was at trading this week.
Right. Yeah. So just I love John. John's great. We talk all the time. He picks up large stones for fun. If you ever see those like strongman competitions, he does that kind of stuff. He does the Highland Game stuff. He's crazy. Like, I went over his house and he's just got like large weights just kind of hanging around.
Imagine trying to hold him in contempt of court. I hold you in contempt, Mr. Nutt. He just fucking starts choking people.
So since we're on the subject of Scotland, I was looking through your Instagram feed, and you happen to be enjoying a whiskey. Are you a big whiskey fan?
I do. I like a little bit of whiskey. I actually have some, like, my wife got me some Game of Thrones scotches. So they're made specifically for the show.
Right.
So they're actually really good. I mean, I'm not like a connoisseur of any means. I just will drink it here and there.
Right.
You know.
No, I'm a big whiskey fan, so it's like if I find a fellow person that doesn't, like, yeah, because I recognize that bottle, and I remember it coming out and going, oh, it's the Game of Thrones one, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was kind of forced upon me. I wasn't a big whiskey fan, but my one of the first friends I made out here forced me to try as many whiskeys as possible. So I found one I actually liked. It was a terrible job. We had to drink whiskey all the time.
was this Graham or?
No, this was a guy that my first job, I worked in a souvenir shop out here. I guess that was the second. And he was determined that I was going to find a whiskey that I would like. And we went out pretty much every night for like a month. We just tried different reasons. All right, sorry, I'm freezing there.
Yeah, your voice got really slow.
Yeah, this is
that's the whiskey.
This is the thing there. I swear, that's the whiskey. Yeah, no. So I'm guessing the wife is streaming something on Netflix and it's slowing everything down, but that's fine. Cool. So we jump into the art. You got another question, John? No?
I'm good.
Okay, we jump into art. Okay, so talk about your art. So you said you went to a 2-year graphic design school. Was that kind of the start of the process for you, or had you always been drawing and just want to pursue it further?
Yeah, I had always been drawing. I draw wildlife, landscapes, sports art. I look at a lot of like the Beckett's when I was younger, draw kind of what I saw. And then I took a couple little art classes kind of growing up, and then really junior high is when I really started like, okay, I have a talent, you know, I want to kind of pursue this a little bit more. And then that my junior high art teacher really pushed it on me. And she was great. I still talk to her today. And then in high school, you know, I think my talent raised a little bit more. And I was like, okay, I wanted to go into architecture actually. And instead I went to that college here in Omaha, and that's really, I saw kind of another uptick in my artistic talent. And then as soon as college got done, I stopped doing everything. So can you still hear me? You kind of froze.
Yeah, fine. I'm fine. Yeah, no, it's I have to go probably go yell at the wife and say, stop watching Netflix when I'm doing these interviews.
You're getting smaller and smaller here. What is going on?
Yeah, no, it says low bandwidth.
It feels like I'm like
Yeah,
peeking in on you, like from a
oh man, all right.
this glory hole cam.
This really has got X-rated tonight. So all right.
So I don't know how much you heard of that. I don't know if John heard it all.
I think that we could hear you just fine. It's just that Jason's actual feed seems to be freezing.
Okay,
I can
right.
hear you absolutely perfectly, and it's me that's streaming it, so I'm the one that really matters. Never mind
yeah.
him.
So yeah,
Are you
so
okay, Jason?
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what's going on here. So I seem to be fine. You guys go ahead.
So after college I just kind of stopped. I got, you know, into the real world of working, and life got in the way. And about 2015, I was really just itching to get back into art, and I just kind of felt like I was wasting a talent. So a friend of mine went to the All-Star game, the baseball All-Star game, and he saw a guy doing airbrushed baseballs and selling them there. And he showed me a couple, and I was like, man, that's really cool. Like that could be a way to get back into art and kind of have a purpose instead of me just picking up, you know, a brush or a pencil and just drawing whatever. I wanted to have some sort of focus. So I did a couple. People seemed to like them. So I started selling a couple, and then I just kind of kept going. And then I started seeing like, oh, you can paint on footballs too. So then I did that. I did a baseball bat. And then 2018, I got onto Instagram, and I saw all these sketch cards, and that's when I got interested in the sketch cards. So I started emailing, messaging people like, how do you get into this? And they said, well, just do one, post it, see how it does. So I did that, and that's actually this one right here.
Oh wow, okay.
Nice.
So that was my first one I did. So I framed it kind of like my first dollar I made in business, you know. So I did.
That's Josh's son. That's Josh's son, Mike.
So I did a deep dive. Is that the one you posted in the blowout forums to say, hey, I did this? Because I saw your post in there.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, that would have been it. So then I had a guy want to buy that one. I'm like, well, this is my first one. I'd like to keep it. And he's like, I go, but I can do another one for you if you want. And so I did another trout. And so he bought that. And then shortly after starting these, I got an email from a guy, Viceroy Card Company. He was doing a space set and doing historical space, you know, astronauts, galaxies, that kind of stuff. So I participated in that. I said, okay, I'll do it. 2 weeks after that email, I got an email from Topps, and they said, do you want to take part in our upcoming museum collection, 2019 museum collection? I was like, well, heck yeah. You know, I was super excited. I probably peed a little bit. I was so excited. And
I know that feeling well, yes. Yeah, I can ask John about that one.
like, he said you're 45, so.
Yeah, no, I'm almost incontinent. I'm getting close.
Well, we've had it all here. We've had nudity, we've had glory holes, and now we've got peach.
That's the real reason the bandwidth is going, so they can swap my diaper.
So I
Any
took
UK or Scottish viewers, that's nappy.
Yes.
So
Right.
I took part in those sets, and Topps wanted me to come on for their 2019 gallery set, and I mean I think those were a good success for me. It got more exposure for me, kind of put me on the sketch card map, and then I took part in this year's 2020 museum, and then 2020 gallery. It hasn't come out yet, so I can't post any of those.
Right.
I did only 15 cards for that set, but I really love how they turned out. I can't wait to post those. And I think that set comes out in November or early December.
So explain the difference between Topps Museum and Gallery, because the UK audience will be like, yeah, mate, I don't have no clue what you're talking about.
So, so for museum, I get a blank card sent to me. I don't have a blank on hand, but I get a blank card sent to me, and then I do the artwork directly on that. So it's a licensed, officially licensed Topps card. I do the work on it. I send those cards into Topps. They then insert those into their product. So it's the original artwork that goes out into the product. Now for Topps Museum, they'll actually choose 50 of their favorites or 50 cards that they like, and they will make prints of those. So actually, so this is a print of Gleyber Torres. So then, this is actually going out to somebody, but I'll sign the back.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll give you my address offline. Don't worry.
So they send me 25 copies. Last year I got 12 chosen, which was a shock to me. And then this year I got 12 chosen again. And this year I had a Mike Trout chosen. So that was really cool that I now have my own little Mike Trout card. So that's museum. Gallery is actually, I do the work on my own stock. And I just do it on it's about a 5x7 illustration board is what I do it on. And then I do the work, I send it in, they scan it or photograph it, however they do. And they use that as their artwork to print the cards. So it's a little bit different.
Will the one that's coming out in November, December, will that focus on players who've had like a particularly notable season, or is it just
No, for museum, I can pick any player I want to do.
Right.
For gallery, they give me a list. So it's they're filling out their quota or whatever they have. So sometimes you get some, I requested to do Mike Trout for this year, and he gave it to me. So that was really nice of him. And I think I had Juan Soto, I had Johnny Bench, I had a Jackie Robinson. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I had excuse me, I think I had I had Ted Williams as well. And then, some other players. Sometimes you get a guy that's kind of maybe just a mid-level star. But they're just filling out their roster list basically.
Yeah, so you're not producing 780 cards like the normal top set.
Right, and there's some, I only did 15 cards for gallery. I mean, there's another artist that, he probably did like 100. I was like, dude, where are you getting all this time?
Fair enough. Like I said, because I was asked about that. I was said, I'm assuming they give you a list of names to pick from, and you just choose the guys you want to do, and then you're competing against the other artists, and who produces the best card then?
For museum, because what we produce is it's a one-of-one card, so it's the original artwork. So everybody does Mike Trout. It just happens. There's some artists that will only do retired players, which is pretty cool. This year I did do a couple more retired players. I think I did 8 or 9 Hall of Famers. I did all of those on a die cut card. So they sent me some die cut cards, and all of my die cut cards are retired Hall of Famers.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So I was going to ask you, say you talked about the street the street map art. I want you to go more into it, because I thought it was really cool, because that's obviously one of your pieces that you're doing.
Yeah, and I can show that right now.
Awesome.
So this is my satchel page. There you go.
Oh, we get it.
Yep.
So there's another artist that we kind of talked back and forth. I saw him doing some street art stuff as well, and he actually had the same junior high teacher as me.
Oh wow.
Art teacher. So yeah, his name is Matt Kamara, something like that. But he does some really cool street art. So we started talking. I told him, I was like, man, I've been wanting to do some street art too. You know, we were kind of going back and forth. I told him kind of what I would try to do, because I knew in my head how I would attack it. I wanted to do something a little bit different than him. So he actually buys the map and paints right on top of it. And my big thing is I want to have control over my stock, so I know what kind of stock I'm working with. So I actually I will buy a digital street map, and I will print that on top of my illustration board. And then I'll do the artwork on top of that. So now I have an illustration board that I know what my markers will do with it. And I know I can control the outcome a little bit better than a poster that gets sent to me. I have no idea how streaky it's going to be, if markers work well with it, if paint works well with it. So I wanted to have more control over that. So I knew that's how I wanted to tackle it.
Cool.
So I print that map on there. And then, so I can probably show you. So this one I'm about to start. So this is going to be my Hank Aaron. So you can see, so I will mock it up in Photoshop, and this is a little behind the scenes tips and tricks, I guess. I'll mock this up in Photoshop, and you can see where I've knocked out where Hank Aaron will go. So now I have a good starting point. So now I can just go in and start filling in stuff, draw it out. And, but I know where it's going to go. I don't have to second guess, or I learned a long time ago, work smarter, not harder. So I've kind of learned some little tips and tricks like that to help with the process. Cause a lot of times actually drawing it out, and the guys that will sit and really sketch out everything, like I think that's really amazing. But I kind of wanted to jump forward a little bit. And I mean, I still lay it out, but then my coloring is where I really start building it all together.
Well, I really love your work. Like I said, it's cool. I've been looking through all your stuff and going, oh man, it blows me away. I love the fact you did stuff on balls and bats. And
yeah, I try to do a lot of different. This was the first one I did. This is my George Brett.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And then so this is one of the Jordans. And then so this is 11 by 14, and then that one there is 16 by 20. So it's a lot bigger.
So if you're gonna do a Seattle one, which athlete are you picking?
Well, Junior is probably the go-to, but I've really liked doing Ichiro. I did an Ichiro for the museum set, and I did an Ichiro for the gallery set last year. And I really had fun doing that. I added a lot of neat colors into it. So I don't know, but I mean, Junior is just an obvious pick. Although he did play for the White Sox.
As I said, Yeah, Junior would be the smartest one. Although I would love to see a Gary Payton one because I'm a big fan of Gary Payton.
Oh, basketball. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Junior. Obviously, Edgar Junior. You know, I'm not going to say that about
Yep.
baseball, but
Yep.
you know,
Edgar.
we've got a few guys out there. So
But with all these maps, like I have so many that I want to do, you know, and I can do, I can really do anything. Love to do football ones. I did, I don't know if did you see my Troy Polamalu football?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going in and out here. So yeah, thanks.
Okay.
So I'm following along here the best I can. I just
All right.
like, get off the Wi-Fi. It's screwing it all up.
So yeah, I mean, I haven't done any hockey. I'd love to maybe do something on a hockey puck because it's a nice flat surface. But I kind of, you know, I really liked Blake's what he was talking about previously when, you know, don't kind of do or pick something that you do in a market. And I really kind of want to go after like the unique kind of collectible type thing. That's why I really like the baseballs. And there's other artists that do baseballs and paint on them. But I think like I do airbrushing in the background. And John, you may like this one.
Oh, very nice.
So that's one of the first baseballs I did as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then you know he signed it, and you can see kind of the silver pen there.
Lovely, yeah.
So I really like doing the airbrush backgrounds. I think the subject matter really pops off, especially when you do that dark background. And then when he signed this in silver pen, I was just like, man, I got to do more dark backgrounds because it creates such a nice canvas for an autograph, especially in the sweet spot. So I really tried to do that. I did a Cubs baseball of Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant probably 3 years ago, and the guy he's just in love with it, and he's gone back to spring training every year to try to get it signed, and he cannot get it signed at all. But man, he just loves that baseball, so that makes me happy hearing that kind of stuff. And I think I have like a nice with the Topps cards with these maps where I'm doing prints of them. And actually, Jason, I kind of wanted to talk to you about, don't you have people kind of donating some stuff?
Yep, sure do. So yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm running a raffle because obviously the UK market's not that big, but it's open worldwide. And we've had various artists donate various things. So Blake just donated his Jackie Robinson and Willie Mays cards signed from him for my raffle.
So I was thinking of maybe when I get the prints of Satchel, maybe we can talk like offline or something too, and I can figure out how some more details on that.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll definitely talk online. That'd be awesome. Like I might have to have you send it to the winner because I might just keep that one for myself. So I like it so much.
Yeah, even just shipping some of the Jordan prints that I did, you know, is like $20, and it's like, man, like sometimes I feel, I don't know, I didn't charge shipping on the first prints I did, but I was like, holy crap, $25 for shipping. Like, you know, how do you, I don't know. I guess I'm still new to the art world. Like, I don't realize how much people get for their art. And I feel bad for charging $50, you know? But and then, you know, oh, by the way, now you owe $25 for shipping. So I don't know how people get around that or what they do, or if it's just something that it's just me that I'm worried about, and the buyer doesn't really care. I don't know.
It's a tough one again because I can totally relate to that because I get a lot of people buying stuff in the States, which cracks me up because I get the stuff from the States. I bring it over here and then someone goes, oh, you've got this awesome jersey. I want that. And I'm going like, it's $20 to ship it from over here. And they're like, yeah, I don't care. Like I said, I like the jersey. I'll pay you what it takes to do it. And I've had various artists reach out to me and going, "How much should I charge for my stuff?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, you're the artist. You're gonna know the value of the work. I'm just a dude that sells used clothing.
Right. I mean, I'm getting better, and I think I'm in a good spot with my tops cards. I'm definitely on the higher end, but you know, I sell out. So, which here's the Jackie Robinson that I just posted.
Wow, that's so awesome.
So I know it's kind of hard to see, but really, really will love doing this double pose. I did a double pose of Mike Trout, which is here.
Yeah, that's really cool as well.
Yeah.
So I really love the double poses, but they take a lot longer. So they're definitely not going to be something that you're going to be pulling in a pack. Just for anybody wanting to know, that's a commission piece right there, and they're a little bit more too.
Oh yeah, no. I was to say, yeah. I mean, we were talking to James Florentino, and I mean, he can just name his price on whatever he wants on his stuff there. But he was like, you know, I make stuff so it's for everybody. You know, I don't want to price anybody out. I want to make it reasonable because I like what I do. And obviously, if you got 50 grand to spend, I'll work something out with you. So
right. And that's kind of why I got into some of these maps, because I wanted to build to offer prints and dive into that and they're nice prints. They're on rag cloth, I think. So they're acid free, all that kind of stuff. So and that'll kind of let me also raise prices on some of my other items to where I can probably get into that market where I'm getting paid for what I'm doing, you know, but also have things that are affordable for others.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, I know a few artists out here, and I go, how do you choose your value of your work? You know how much time you put into it. You know what kind of materials are behind it there, and then then you've got to set that price. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think John's got a question for you because we got to end up soon because we have the next interview in 10 minutes, and we got to open those cards. So.
Yeah, Josh, so we always like to close the interviews with the same question to each of our artists, and that question is, as an artist and as an American and as a baseball fan, what do the Negro Leagues mean to you, and how did you come to be involved with the fundraiser?
So I got involved. Tad Richardson, the creator of this, reached out, I think, just on Instagram. I think he started following me. And that's really, since joining, I've really started getting a lot more attention through that and meeting new people and messaging. I love messaging and talking to other artists, and I do that openly and freely, really too. But so he told me about it. I really kind of wanted to do that because I thought it was a great opportunity, a good cause. A little selfishly, I was like, I want more exposure as well. So I was like, this would be awesome to kind of get my name out there more, but not only that, really to help a good cause. And I was like, oh man, I need to learn more about the museum. So that it got me into finding out more about that. So I had a phone conversation. I said, I don't have any artwork on hand. Everything is commission based for me. So I feel like I would need to do something. And I'm not sure if I have the time because I have, a log list of commissions. I have top stuff coming in probably soon, but I said, no, I need to do this. So I'm surprised that I'm knocking out 4 items, I feel like I don't have enough. And other people they'll do a couple and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing a little bit more than, so I feel pretty good about that. But really like learning about, what those guys went through, really kind of opens your eyes. And I really wanted to focus on, how like Jackie Robinson, Hank Aaron, I love the image of Satchel Paige. I've really wanted to do that for a while. So I knew I wanted to do that. And then that got me learning about him. So I'm really enjoying learning about the stories that what these guys went through. and some of the history of that, because I really love that history stuff. I like documentaries about stuff. So, but I just think, they broke those barriers and got people to kind of really realize, like, hey, these ball players can play, and got rid of the idea of the segregation of blacks and whites, and we're all human beings, and we should all be together, and treat each other kindly, and treat each other like we want to be treated. So I mean, I all around, I think it's just great that the museum is getting recognition, and people are with the 100th year with baseball, and I think it's kind of a good time with the COVID. I mean, a lot of people, you see the baseball world, cards, sport card collecting kind of explode. People are taking notice of sports art, so this is a great opportunity for people to like really pay attention, where maybe if all the other craziness is going on in the world without COVID, maybe people wouldn't have time to really sit and learn about this stuff. So I think it's a good learning experience too for people.
Amazing.
Great
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Josh. Before we open up a pack of cards, would you like to plug your social media and your website?
Sure. So I am on Facebook. Don't friend request my Josh Trout page. I'm on Josh Trout Paintings. That is my artist page. It's where I post all my artwork. I keep my personal account fairly private, unless I have some interactions with folks. I'm also on Twitter now, but I don't get any traction on Twitter. I'm lucky to get a couple likes or retweets, but that is at J Trout Paintings, the letter J, Trout Paintings. And then that is the same handle for Instagram as well. So Instagram and Facebook have really been where I've been pushing. I just started getting into Twitter, so we'll see where that goes. But I know it's a great platform for artists, so I knew I needed to get on, and hopefully do some good things through that.
Yeah,
Awesome,
next
Josh.
year we'll be all over Twitter. Like I said, we'll have it massive by then. We'll have a year there.
I'm also on I'm on Beckett's sports art team. They just launched that, so I think that is Beckett.com/artist, and then you can search for my name, Josh Trout. And so I think it's right now it's just a spot where you can go and, like a search engine basically, and look for sports artists that have joined in on that, and then through them there'll be some pristine auctions stuff that we'll take part in. So I will have probably a double pose Mike Trout put up on auction for that.
Very cool.
And I think I might auction off some of these original street maps, because unless somebody wants to buy them, but they're just sitting here. So
That's all right. We'll push them for you. Like I said, we'll push them on Twitter for you.
all right,
All right, Josh. Let's open up some cards.
do it.
$89. He's got the bow in there. The bow, the scar.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I got 4 different kinds of that card.
91 Studio, 92 Pinnacle, the 92 Donners, the 93 Studio, and of course we got the Modern there. We got the, what is this? The Big League Baseball.
Well, I feel like nobody's gonna pick that score pack.
Right. Okay.
So the studio cards, I mean, I have enjoyed watching you guys open those because those are just hilarious. But let's go with the score. We'll probably get garbage, but you can add it to your wall.
Somebody else picked the score. I can't remember who else picked the score.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we've gotten one because I pulled the John Oldard out of it. And I was quite excited because it was in high school. All right, we'll start with that. We got Rafael Ramirez. He's got a long career at the Braves, but he's a free swinger. Yeah, there you go. There you go. White Sox for you. Scott Fletcher.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Who? Yeah. Oh,
I love those old logos though.
I do like that. Yeah, like the hat. I love that one. They only wore that for 3 years. So
Who's that?
this is Darnell Coles. He was one of the various left fielders that played with Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay.
Was it 146 different left fielders or something
Yeah.
like
So Tom Goodwin of the Dodgers.
Okay.
You recognize this guy? He was all right. His brother was better. It's Ramon Martinez.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
He was supposed to be the good one. So.
that? Mike Piazza's good friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Lee Mazzilli.
Mm.
Trying to coach somewhere.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching you guys because you have such good baseball knowledge, and I'm just like, oh, I think I remember that name.
But I mean, this is my jam. I mean, I collect cards from 87 to 92, so I remember these guys here and there. And then Tad's been really good about pulling stuff out there. But I mean, I think Lee Mazzilli he was in one of the books, the Wax Packs. I think he was a coach. But I read that recently, so that's why I know. So, Gene Nelson, he's got his killer stash. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at that. You can see that stash there. I mean, that's just amazing. And it's at the mullet there. I think him and Dennis Eckersley had the same hairstylist.
Yep.
All right. Tim Burke for the Expos. I don't remember him. Danny Heap he played all over the place there. So he's the DH.
Huh.
Tells you how good the Red Sox were if he was your DH.
Yeah, right?
There we go. Terry Francona. That's a Brewer.
Oh, nice.
Tito. All right. Oh, I don't remember. He was a first baseman. I actually remember where he played position-wise. So Bill Kruger. You probably won't know who Bill Kruger is, but he does the Mariner games. He's one of the color guys for the Mariners.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so he's kind of always around there. But yeah, I think he just bounced around, and I think the Mariners are probably his last team. So he just kind of stayed in Seattle. He became a color guy. Okay, there we go. Willie McGee, obviously 1985 MVP for the Cardinals there.
Yep.
There you go, John. You got a Yankee for you. But you're not going to know who Wayne Tollerson is.
I know who Wayne Tollerson is.
He's got a sweet mustache.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. That was a really dark era for the Yankees. They weren't very good, but I've heard of them.
All right, we've got rated rookie Kelly Mann for the Braves.
Not rated well enough.
Yeah, exactly. Someone was saying that during this era when the junk wax exploded, that they just produced any kind of like guy that was a rookie. They just produced their cards because people will buy them. They're like, oh yeah, it says rated rookie. They don't know any better. I think we're a little smarter now. Yeah.
What year is this?
1990.
Okay. So that would have been, 89 Upper Deck was, they printed the crap out of the Griffey.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Tom Barrett for the Phillies. Yep, don't remember him. And the last card is Paul Sorrento for the Twins. Yep, we got a lot of crap there. We have the best card.
I called it. I got it out of the way for other guys. So
there you go.
They don't have to pick that one now.
Josh, it's been brilliant chatting with you. We could just go on and on and on. And I think me and John have been talking about continuing this on once this is over there. And we're definitely going to have you back on again so we can chat more baseball.
Yeah, man. This was fun. I enjoy these.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for coming on with us, Josh. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye, Josh.